They said it would never happen. They said royalty was untouchable, that the establishment would always protect its own. But this morning, on his 66th birthday, no less, police showed up at former Prince Andrew's door and took him away in handcuffs. The man who once dined in palaces and jet-setted with the world's most powerful elite is now sitting in a police custody cell. And the shockwaves from this arrest, they're going to rip through every corridor of power, from Buckingham Palace to Wall Street, from the House of Lords to Hollywood. Make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video, because what you're about to see goes far beyond one disgraced royal. This is the reckoning the elites prayed would never come. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, click on that link below and sign up for my free uncensored Patriots Alerts newsletter, where I share the stories I can't cover on YouTube. You can subscribe for free by simply clicking the Patriot Alerts link in the description below. This morning, Thursday, February 19th, Thames Valley Police arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. 6 unmarked police vehicles arrived at Wood Farm on the Sandringham Estate in Norfolk shortly after 8 a.m. local time, when plainclothes police officers took King Charles's younger brother into custody. Police also confirmed that they executed search warrants to raid his former residence, the Royal Lodge in Berkshire. Now, simply put, bottom line, this is absolutely unprecedented. Royal historians are scrambling, trying to find any previous example of a reigning monarch's sibling being arrested on suspicion of public corruption, and they came up empty. This simply has never happened before in the modern history of the British monarchy. Now, I'm sure you all know that Andrew had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, he actually more or less bailed Epstein out of prison when charges first hit him back in 2000s. But what just happened today is actually the fruit of the 3.5 million pages of Epstein files that the Department of Justice released on January 30th. As it turns out, buried in that mountain of documents were emails showing that Andrew, while serving as Britain's special representative for international trade and investment, forwarded confidential government reports directly to Epstein. So we're talking official reports from his trade visits to Singapore, Hong Kong, Vietnam, China, that Andrew forwarded to Epstein just 5 minutes after receiving them, which is obviously rather suspicious in of itself. And it gets worse. On Christmas Eve, back in 2010, Andrew sent Epstein what he described as a confidential brief on investment opportunities in southern Afghanistan, in Helmand Province, which was at the time being managed by British forces and funded by UK taxpayer money. So he was literally sharing classified military-adjacent intelligence with a convicted pedophile, while British soldiers were on the ground. In another email from February 2011, Andrew proposed that Epstein invest in a private equity firm that he had just visited on official business. Official government guidelines make crystal clear that trade envoys have a duty of confidentiality that persists even after they leave the role. And the Official Secrets Act of 1911 and 1989 apply. And that means, if convicted, misconduct in public office carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment under British law. King Charles, of course, has already stripped Andrew of his princely title and the right to be called His Royal Highness by virtue of his relationship with Epstein, and he forced him to vacate Royal Lodge. Buckingham Palace issued an extraordinary statement last week saying that they would fully cooperate with any police investigation, essentially leaving Andrew twisting the wind. But here's the thing. This arrest is not happening in a vacuum. The fallout from those 3.5 million pages has been a slow rolling earthquake that's toppled some of the most powerful people in the world. Peter Mandelson, the so-called Prince of Darkness of British politics, former cabinet secretary and UK's former ambassador to the United States. The Epstein files revealed he sent sensitive government emails to Epstein during the 2008 financial crisis. Then there's Kathy Rumler, Goldman Sachs' chief legal officer. Emails showed her offering Epstein legal advice on lawsuits brought by his sexual abuse victims, gushing over a $10,000 Hermes bag that he gifted her, and calling him Uncle Jeffrey in correspondence. She resigned. Brad Karp, chairman of the powerhouse law firm Paul, Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison. He stepped down after emails surfaced showing him thanking Epstein for an unforgettable evening. Thomas Pritzker, the billionaire executive chairman of Hyatt Hotels, he announced his retirement on February 16th after documents revealed the depth of his ties to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Jack Lang, France's former culture minister, he resigned as head of the Arab World Institute in Paris after his name appeared over 600 times in the Epstein documents. We could go on and on. Casey Wasserman, the chairman of the LA 2028 Olympics. He was exposed for flirtatious emails with Ghislaine Maxwell. Steve Tisch, co-owner of the New York Giants. He was mentioned over 400 times in the files. Again, we could go on and on. The legacy media simply cannot hide this anymore. Their cover for these elites has been blown, as has their blatant left-wing activism. Millions are waking up to the realization that the news is broken. It's biased. It's unreliable. But luckily, there's a solution that doesn't tell you what to think, but it helps you cut through all the noise to understand what's being emphasized, ignored, or spun. Ground News brings together headlines from over 50,000 news sources and makes it easy to understand what's really happening. But what really makes it powerful is its transparency. You don't just see the stories. You see the political bias behind every source, the ownership ties, and the coverage breakdown across the spectrum. So that's why over 1 million people have downloaded Ground News. Check it out for yourself at ground.news/Steve. Now, my favorite feature is the blind spot feed. It shows you which stories are blowing up on one side of the aisle, but barely mentioned on the other. It's the clearest way to see media bias in action. So, for example, here's a story the left is completely ignoring. It involves the testimony of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison before Congress in March regarding the allegations of widespread fraud. Now, the left-wing media doesn't want to touch this story of their upcoming testimonies because it exposes just how corrupt Democrat administrations have become. Now, of course, right-wing media has its own blind spots, but that's the beauty of Ground News. With every story, Ground News shows you the entire spectrum of who's reporting from left, right, and center, and how reliable each source is, who owns each outlet. I mean, it's everything the corporate press doesn't want you to see. Right now, you can get 40% off the Vantage plan, which gives you unlimited access to all their features. I personally use it for about $5 a month. It's awesome. Just visit ground.news/Steve, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code. That's ground.news/Steve. Now let's zoom out here, because what we're witnessing isn't just a series of isolated embarrassments. This is the systematic unraveling of what appears to have been a global blackmail operation. Former Israeli intelligence officer Ari Ben-Menashe has claimed that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell ran a honey trap operation designed to compromise global elites. So Stephen Hoffenberg, Epstein's former business partner, said Epstein admitted to having international intelligence ties before his, shall we say, mysterious death in that jail cell. And the pattern is unmistakable. Epstein recorded powerful men in compromising situations. Then he used that leverage to bend them to his will, but his will appears to have been merely the surrogate for a larger international deep state network of intelligence agencies keeping world leaders in line. And look at the scope of the damage so far. I mean, this isn't confined to one country. It's a global reckoning, right? In Britain, Prince Andrew arrested, Peter Mandelson under criminal investigation, the House of Lords under scrutiny, the monarchy itself teetering. In America, Bill Gates exposed, Reid Hoffman exposed, Goldman Sachs just lost its top lawyer, Paul Weiss losing its chairman, the NFL investigating its own team owner. In France, a former culture minister under criminal investigation with police raiding his institution. In Slovakia, a national security advisor gone overnight. And yet, despite all of this, we have to note not one of the so-called Epstein clients has been prosecuted for their actual abuse. Yes, Andrew has just been arrested, but note for misconduct in public office, not for what, say, Virginia Giuffre had accused him of. Ghislaine Maxwell sits in prison. Epstein is conveniently dead, but the powerful men who participate in this operation, the ones who flew to the island, who accepted the girls, who were captured on hidden cameras, they're still walking free. Now, that said, the blackmail empire is indeed collapsing. The files are out. The elites who thought that they were untouchable are finally being exposed. Prince Andrew is sitting in a police cell on his birthday. And for the first time in this entire sordid saga, it finally feels like this is just the beginning. Do you want to ask me your biggest questions and maybe win free merch while you're at it? Well, join my Courageous Patriot Club and be part of the uncensored Monday night Q&A, all for only $10 a month at turley.pub/club.